Hi, Izzy. I thought I'd just quickly pop on while I'm up here sewing. I thought it'd be rude not to. Hi, Jan. Hi, Shauna. Yeah, I thought I would just pop on and do a bit of Quilt As You Go mug rugs because I have got lots of new surfaces that need new coasters. So I thought I would use up all of my tiny little bits of scrap fabric that I've got laying around everywhere because I have a whole host of scrap fabrics all over the place. This one is all Tula and this is just my small scraps. Oh, hello from Ipswich. That's not that far. So yeah, I thought I would just work my way through my scraps and do a bit of Quilt As You Go. Make some more of these little mug rugs. They are really, really easy to make. And they're quite good fun. I need to change my foot though to a 1/4 inch foot because it will make my life a lot easier. So I'm going to go through and find what I've done with it. There it is. So swap that one out. So what is everyone up to this evening? It's been a very, very hectic couple of days here. We've spent most of the last week moving. We are trying to get our head around everything in the new house, trying to work out where a whole host of other things are going to go that we can't find any room for, which is always helpful. You're supposed to be cooking supper. Well, we've just had ours. We had some nice salmon in the air fryer, which meant that we could get it all cleaned up, eaten quickly, and could get some sewing done. My lovely husband is downstairs sewing some little FPP house blocks that are a free pattern. I can't remember who makes it, but he's learning FPP at the moment because he's gradually trying to learn everything there is to know about quilting, basically. You're at the seaside crocheting. It is better internet in the new house, Izzy. We've got super duper super fast internet. So my old house, we used to only get something like 13 megabytes per second, which is like Fred Flintstone internet. And it used to take over an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, just to upload a 10-minute video. Whereas the new house, I've opted for sort of like a business type of broadband, which allows multiple streaming on multiple devices. And we've gone from having, what was it? We've gone from 13 megabytes per second to 500. So we can both be watching TV, we can both be on the internet, we can both be on Teams calls or Zoom calls or streaming live video, anything. And the internet doesn't have a hissy fit, which is really helpful because it means that my uploads have gone from an hour and 10 minutes to about 1 minute 30 seconds to upload a 10-minute video. But I'm not counting my chickens because speeds do fluctuate. I'm fully aware of that, and there'll be a day where it cuts out probably. But until then, we should just enjoy the fact that it's actually working quite well. I'm off to orchestra in a minute, but I thought I'd pop by your new house. Oh, thanks, Carol. You're supposed to be working. It's 20 to 11 a.m. here in California. Is that your new machine? It is. It is my new Juki. I am absolutely loving it. I'm slowly getting my head around how everything works on it. Because I haven't had a computerized machine for quite some time. Well, not one that I've used very much. I had the Benina, which I've now gifted to my husband. He is sewing on that downstairs as we speak. He wanted something, so he was using my Juki straight stitch, and he wanted something that he could do applique and different things on. So I knew that I was going to be getting this machine, and I thought, you know what, if he wants to learn applique and different things, it would make much more sense for him having a decent machine like the Bernina, and it meant that I could go full Juki on all of my machines. So yeah, I've knitted 8 chickens, not crocheted one yet. Oh, you're going to have a whole coop of knitted chickens. You're going to have to make them a house. You're going to have to knit them a house. Or weave them a house out of willow, so then it's sort of like knitted wood almost. That would be quite cool. You'll have to pop round for a coffee soon, Shauna, when you're back from the seaside. And when you come over again. Oh, hello, Catherine. Yes, Izzy, when you can wangle another trip to the UK, you'll have to come and play with all the Jukies, and then you can convince yourself that you need an upgrade to the DX7. The dual feed on this machine is incredible. I quilted a huge panel of foam earlier today while I was filming filming the new tutorial for my new pattern that's coming out in a week or two, and the walking foot function on this is unlike any walking foot function I've ever used on any other machine. It doesn't drag, you don't get puckers, it's just brilliant. So yeah, very happy with that. Who else have we got here? I'm not jealous at all. Hi, Suzanne. Oh, they've all gone to new homes. So, for anyone that's watching, the lovely Shauna that's in the comments talking about her knitted chickens has knitted chickens. They're emotional support chickens that she knits for her friends and family. And one of them was called Jennifer Lopez. And one of the other one was a very funny name. And they are just some of the cutest things you've ever seen. Knitted chickens. I mean, who'd have thought that you'd ever need a knitted chicken in your life? But you do. When you've seen them. If you knit, if you're a knitter, try and find the knitted chicken pattern. I didn't think I'd ever say that. Isn't it nice when a scrap just is the perfect length? So yeah, I've been squaring these up to 5 inches, and then I've been doing a sort of stitch and turn through on these rather than binding them, which has been really helpful. And it's just slowly getting through this massive bin of scraps. But yeah, and my lovely little, do love my new little Eliso. We got word the other day that our Tudor pink ones are coming to the UK very soon, which I'm very excited about. So I think I'm going to double check, but I think that might be 5 inches already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, right, so I'm going to pop that one to one side because I will trim that down in a minute and start on the next one. This is a thermal wadding that I'm using because then it retains any heat and doesn't allow heat transfer through. My chicken is for sure and the wall at the wall patch, and it is Dutch flag colours. Would I like a chicken? I'd love a chicken. I've got an ornamental chicken in my garden, like the ones that you get at garden centres and stuff. I've got one of those, and she's been to every house with us. And that was one of the things that we actually panicked about the other day when we left the old house. We've still got access to the old house because we don't actually officially leave the old house until the end of the month. But we both sort of thought to each other, oh, we must go and get the chicken from the garden. And she doesn't eat much either, being made of concrete. Oh, hi Neil. How you doing? Dutch flag colours, that sounds brilliant. Hi Lorraine. I haven't seen you in ages. I saw you on Stephen's live a little while ago, but I've not been able to get on to anyone's lives for ages because of life being pretty hectic. So I thought I would pop on and make a few more of these, and then I'm going to go downstairs in a little while and teach hubby how to make one of the spools, the FPP spool blocks that was on the quilt that I made, which was the sew along from Henrik in Germany, which was the thread against the machine quilt. So I've printed out some of the thread blocks, the FPP thread blocks, and I'm going to teach hubby how to make one of those next, because at the moment he's just making loads and loads of little houses, which I was trying to find the ones that I made the other day, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what I've done with them since we've moved. A housewarming chicken, thank you very much, Shauna, I look forward to that. So yeah, we're almost in, we're almost unpacked. There's still a whole load of stuff at the old house that we need to go and get rid of because there's just no room for it. But it has been a hell of a cleanse on the old junk stuff that you accumulate over the years, so it's been really helpful. Hi Helen. There is an 8-hour time difference between us. Ah, that is a big time. Oh, Suzanne, it does. It is very, very nice. Will you show us your husband's sewing? Oh, actually, I can show you a quilt top that I've got in here that I need to quilt, if you would like to see it. Which is one of his. I've got a whole... I've got 1, 2, 3 quilt tops in here that that are his. That I've got my... partially dismantled frame behind me, which are going to be, it's going to be built this week, and I'm going to go through and quilt all of those quilts. Hi Mel, how you doing? Yeah, so once I get to the end of this one, picking up fluff of the batting. Once I get to the end of this one, I'll go and grab one of the quilts, and I'll unwrap it. Oh, hi Russ. It's coming along nicely. It's taken a while. We've still got a lot of things to sort out. We've still got we've not got a lot of stuff to unpack, which is really good. But we had to. So before we moved last year, we bought all new bedroom furniture. So we bought a new wardrobe, we bought a new set of drawers and different things. And the new house, the configuration of the actual bedroom, because we've now got a ensuite in the main bedroom, the sort of jutting out parts of the walls don't lend themselves well to the furniture that we had. So we've had to buy new furniture for most of the bedroom. And the old wardrobe that we thought we were going to be able to dismantle and possibly either gift to someone or possibly pop it on Marketplace or something for free so that someone could benefit from it. It's been put together in such a way that you cannot take it apart without the whole thing being scrapped, basically. So we tried to undo a few of the panels to try and break it down so that it was small enough to go through the door frame, and they're one-way push pin things in it that just basically ripped huge holes in the wardrobe, so it was just completely null and void. So I'm not very impressed about the build of that particular wardrobe because it wasn't cheap, and it means that we've only had a year's use out of it. But yeah, such such is life. There's not much you can do about it now. And to be honest, I don't think it would have fit in here anyway. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just the little iron. I just feel safer with it sat upright than when it's. I mean the mat is here and you can leave it down, but for some reason this one I just automatically put it up because it hasn't got the lift function on it. But the mats are good and they don't melt or anything like some of the old ones used to before they made this model. I do remember hearing some horror stories about people leaving them face down on the mats and the mats would melt if they were on too high heat for too long. Hey Stephanie, how you doing? Oh, it's brilliant. I love it. I've just got to figure out where to put my quilt frame in different things because at the moment it's all dismantled everywhere and it's just driving me a little bit bonkers because it's I'm a bit of a neat freak and it's sort of a bit higgledy-piggledy all over the place at the moment. So I've got bits of it sort of all over the back wall. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me get rid of something that needs to be hidden away and I'll give you a bit of a sweep of the room. Let me pop that down there. So yeah, so this is the new sewing space. As I said, I've got my quilt frame here behind the door at the moment, and obviously other parts of the quilt frame. So that all needs to go. I've got my other wall of fabric here, and then all my dressmaking fabric and everything is down the bottom here. Up here is my Everglow Tudor prints. I've got my art doll set on the window at the moment, and some of my Tudor ribbon. And then this is the other end, which is my sewing space. And then I've got my other wall of Tudor behind me. I hope that hasn't made you all feel a bit seasick. But yeah, that's my current setup. I'm still trying to work out if I want to move things around and whether anything needs to be in a different place, but it seems to be working quite well at the moment. I seem to be quite happy with. At the moment I've got a little pressing board here for when I'm sewing here, and then I've got a larger pressing board here which I use for larger pieces of fabric basically. So I've got, Danelle is asking, what are you using your ribbons for? I normally put them on bags and different things. Unfortunately, so it's very relaxing. Hi, Ruth. So it has got really good natural light. The window is really good, and it's got natural light. There is enough there. I'm hoping there is enough room for Tabby Road, Suzanne. At the moment, my whole thing is I will get rid of anything that's non-Tula to accommodate Tula. So that is my current way of thinking. I have got some room. I've got a lot more space above my units now. So at my old house, the ceilings were really, really low. So you couldn't actually fit anything above the shelves at all. Whereas here I can get 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get 5 bolts stacked either side of each other. So I get 10 in total on top of the units. Which means that I've been able to get my rolls of quilt back in up on the top, but they could actually come down and go in a cubby hole instead of being on bolts, which would then free up quite a big gap up there for Tabby Road when it arrives. But yes, I have been sort of wondering where that's going to go when it turns up. Hi Terry, yes it is my Ujuki, it is my UX8. Oh, for the holder of the ribbons, so I bought some dead stock from a lovely shop that was closing down, unfortunately, and it was quite sad when it shut down because it was my only local shop that sold Tula. And they used to use that as a display in the shop for the ribbons. So it's basically like a T-shaped frame, no, a U-shaped frame, sorry, with like a wire that goes through it, so you can actually slide the ribbons rolls onto it, so you can just pull it straight off. So I use that for some of my ribbons that are on rolls, and then the ones that aren't on rolls, I'll spin you round. The ones that aren't on rolls, I've actually got on another piece of, so I've got a piece of like really thick twill tape that goes across the front of that unit, and then I roll it around my fingers and slide them on so I can still unroll them and chop off however much I need. So that works quite well at the moment. It's not the neatest way of storing it, but it does the job. I can see what ribbons I've got and different things. Have you ever done a caddy so long? I bought the pattern and bits and have gotten scared. I haven't yet. All I will say is watch this space about that one. Just tuned in to What Does I Knit and saw you was live. How cool is that? Oh, hi Lucy. So for any of you that don't know Lucy from So Pretty So Mindful, go and check out her YouTube channel. She is absolutely lovely. She's a bag designer and she's got some awesome patterns. La, da, da, da. Oh, hi Deb. How you doing? Oh, the little man with the yellow hat. That's Pinocchio. Yeah, he's a cutie, that one. He was one of those ones that I made, and I was gonna add him to my store, and then I took him off my store, and now I think I'm just quite happy with him being here, sitting watching. But yeah, he's quite cute. Hi Barney, how you doing? How's things, Debs? Hi Zelda. Yeah, so the ribbons are on that little reel. Could you tell me what machines you have, please? I can. At the moment, this is Juki UX8. In America, it is, in the US market, it is the DX 4000 QVP, but it's the same machine, basically. I've got a Juki MO 2500, which is my overlocker in the corner over here. And then behind me here is a Juki DDL 7000A7, which is a direct drive industrial with an auto thread cut function on it. That is a beast, that Juki, the one over there, the industrial. That will sew through anything, including your fingers if you're not careful. I just made a cute little veil with a pattern from Lisa Pay. He has jointed arms, new to me, came out adorable. Such good patterns. Terry, my husband, made that. That was one of the first things he ever made, believe it or not. I don't know why. Things are steamy hot for real in Florida these days. Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. The new Juki's fab, Deb. I'm getting on really, really well with it. So the Benina, as I said earlier, I gifted to my husband. I just never really made good friends with that machine. It's a lovely machine. It is more than capable. But it was just never, I don't know what it was. I never quite clicked with it. Whereas this, from out of the box, it just seems to work. And it's just really, really easy to use. And everything, it has a huge display screen on it. So you can adjust so many different settings. There's more functions on it than I'll probably ever use, but then it's always nice to have them for that one day that you decide, oh, actually, I need to do such and such, and you've got the ability to do it. The other thing as well is that this comes with every foot you could ever think of, and I got a bit tired of having to buy every single foot that I needed, every time I needed a foot to do a new function, and you buy 10 feet for a Benina, and you might as well have bought a new sewing machine, the cost of them. And I kind of got to the point where I thought, you know what, I'm not buying more feet. I'd rather just use something that I absolutely love, that comes with all the feet that I could ever need. And this seems to be that one, which is working out really well. Let's take that off there. Let's chop that salvage off. So is anyone else sewing tonight? Lucy, I know, is knitting. Something that I've never got my head around because I can't work with 2 needles at once. It blows my mind. I can't get my head around it. I can just about crochet. And that's because I've got one control over the hook with one hand, but knitting just doesn't go well in my head. Made any new friends with the neighbours? So the direct neighbour, she's really lovely. She's a young lady that's got 2 children. They're really sweet, really nice family. The guy over the road is really nice, but Dobby, our dog, ran over and said hello to him the other day because he got out the front door without us realising. And I don't think he's a dog person, so I don't know. I'm hoping that we haven't upset the neighbours, but it was a very innocent accident and he didn't hurt anyone. So the problem with Dobby is he wants to be everyone's friend and not everyone wants to be friends with Dobby. So yeah, I wish I was so I'm at work trying to sift through millions of rows of data to see how bad the consultants did things. Oh Lord. I'll see you soon, Stephanie. Thanks for checking in. Yes, you can watch YouTube on here, Suzanne. So when I sit here and I think, what am I going to sew? I can just watch the Yorkshire Sew Girl and see what lovely bit of double gauze that she's been buying instead. Until I actually make up my mind as to what I want to sew. You're right about the feet being expensive, but they do work with all my banana machines that I've had so far. Yeah, they do. That is a good thing. They are interchangeable. If you've as long as it's a modern Bernina, or if you've got the predecessors with the predecessor feet. But yeah, the modern feet, they fit machines from early 2000 onwards, pretty much, don't they? From when they did the Artista and the Activa. They've not really changed them ever since, apart from the fact that they've now got the 9mm function rather than 5. But yeah, for straight stitch feet and different things like that, it's good that you can just pick up ones. The thing is though, I don't have much luck. Whenever something like that comes up on a D-stash, when it's feet for machines or anything like that, I seem to always be about 10 minutes too late, and someone else seems to get them first. So I tend not to be very lucky with getting things like that on D-stashes. Oh, that's a nice bit of out of print. We'll put that in there. You're finishing a bag today by So Hungry Hippie, the Madison bag. Oh, I shall have to have a look at that. Better go cook. See you soon. Take care, Shauna. I will speak to you very soon. Cutting out blocks. Oh, nice. Just joined from Florida too. It's so hot outside. Decided to do some sewing in the AC. And this live came up. Must be a sign I made the right decision. Oh, bless you. You know, I think everyone moans in the... Well, it seems that it kind of like goes without saying that everyone in the UK moans about the weather. I'm not too fussed. As long as... I don't really mind if it's raining, whether it's sunny or whatever, as long as I'm not stuck out in it for some long period of time. So if it starts raining and there's no way of getting away from it, then I get a bit cheesed off. But if I'm indoors, I don't really mind if it's raining, if it's sunny, whatever, because I can just do my own thing and occupy myself. So it doesn't really bother me. But when it's hot and it's that real blistering heat and you can't get away from it, it does become slightly unbearable. And you kind of get to that point where you just sort of sit and think, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Which is how I got the other night, and that was my own stupidity because I put the heating on. Because I thought I was cold. And then it got too hot. And then I couldn't do anything about it. And the other thing is, I think the thing is as well, is like, when you go to, a lot of Brits say that when you go to other countries on holiday, whether it be America, whether it be somewhere like Egypt, Spain, or whatever, most of the hotels and places that you stay have air conditioning. But in the UK, air conditioning is just basically like a myth. No one has air conditioning. So when it's hot here and it's like 34 degrees Celsius, it's 34 degrees Celsius indoors, outdoors, everywhere, because nowhere has air conditioning. So it's pretty unbearable. What am I making? I am making some little quilt as you go coasters, because as I was saying earlier, we've got a lot of different we've got like a couple of window ledges that are near the sofa, and we've got a new coffee table and different things, and I just wanted to make sure that there's plenty of little coasters everywhere to put cups on, because I seem to, in my sewing room, I have one here, which is the lovely mug rug that the lovely Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews made me when she came over from Canada to visit. And I seem to have coasters everywhere in the house, and I can still never find one. So I thought, while I'm at it, and I'm trying to just find some time to sew something that is just nice and simple, something that doesn't take a lot of thinking, I thought I'd make some more mug rugs. So I've made, at the moment, I've got these 3 to this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some backing fabric, and then I'm going to trim them all down to 5 inches, and then I'm going to turn them through and back them. Doing a jigsaw, it is a bit like that, yeah. Hi Janice, from Wisconsin. 64 degrees Fahrenheit. That is, I'm trying to work out what that is. That's in the 20s here in Celsius, I think. Why that model for the industrial machine? Ah, good question. So the direct drive is a lot more functional in terms of it behaves more like a domestic machine. So the pedal, the response time and everything on it is a lot more similar to how a domestic machine would work. And because of this, it's a semi, they call it a semi-dry machine, I believe. So it does sit in oil, but it's not, it pumps the oil itself around or something. I don't quite get that, but it's got lots of different functions. So it does a auto back tack, an auto end tack. You can tell it how many stitches you want it to do for a reverse at the beginning and at the end. So if you want it to do 3 back, 3 forward, it will do that. If you want it to do 2 back, 2 forward, 5 back, 5 forward, so on. And you can program it as well, so that when you tap the back of the pedal, so the base of the pedal here, you can either have it as a foot lift, or if you press it harder, it will cut and lift your foot. So when you're quilting and different things, when you're doing straight line quilting, you can literally quilt a line, hit the back of the pedal, and it will cut, lift, and then you can literally move it over, go, move it over, go, and just keep going round and round and round, and it is just so much faster. It's just a lot more usable than sort of like a separate motor industrial, because you then have a motor bolted onto the underneath of the table, and they're just not as easy to control. That's quite easy to control for an industrial, and it's also quite compact. It's not the biggest. The head of the machine is the same size as most industrials, but it's not a huge machine in terms of its footprint. Hi Joan. Isn't that why all the rooms have a door to keep the cool / heat in the room? Yeah. That is one thing actually I will say, Lorraine. This house we counted has got 15 internal doors, and you think it's a 2-bedroom house. Why has it got so many internal doors? So I wouldn't want to be the person that has to replace the doors on this place, because you'd be here all day. Right, I'm going to find my rotary cutter, which is here. How cool is that? That's cool enough. Let's move you out of the way a minute. I'm going to pop this over here and just trim these blocks down to 5 inches. Do you know what? I'm going to see if I can actually spin you over here so you can see what I'm doing from a different angle. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's move all of this. Let's pop that there. I'm going to see if this is going to allow me to go around the side, so I can adjust it in here. work over here, I think. And then I don't have to keep putting my back to you. Right, that's better. Right, so I'm going to square up these, and then I'm going to find some backing fabric. I think they were 5-inch blocks. I squared them down to. So I'm using a separate mat because the fluff from this wadding and this batting seems to get stuck in everything, and I don't want more fluff stuck in my Tudor mat on the other big table. So I'd rather use my little one. Right, so that's squared down to 5 inches. I'm going to do the same with the other ones. AC in the car. Yeah, that is the only place I've got AC in it. My car is... So I got a new car about 2 months ago. And it came up with a warning light this week for something that should have well and truly been done by the garage that I bought it from. So I called them at the end of last week and said, this light has come on. I'm not convinced it's something that I should have to pay for. And luckily, which is never ever happens, I never get lucky with things like that, they've actually turned around and said that they are going to sort it out on Thursday, and they're giving me a hire car as well, so I'm quite happy about that. So it is always worth taking out an extended warranty, because I don't think if I didn't have the extended warranty, I don't think they would have done it. Right, those are all 5 inches. I now need to find something to back them with. I'll move it back around in a second, and I just didn't want to have my back while I'm cutting all of these out. And let's find some background fabric. What shall we use? Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's find maybe some hexes. I think. Let's chop a bit of this off. Right. Let's take some of that off there. And pop that back in there. Right. Spin you back round. You're almost like a shop. Well, it is kind of a shop in a sense. Let's move that back around there. There we go. It is a bit like a shop, I have to agree. But it is it brings me a lot of happiness and a lot of joy with it being so organised and the way that it's laid out. So I shan't complain at the moment. Right, we need one. Let's take a lot of those off. Right. Set some squares. Let me go in the scrap bin. So I'm going to stitch these on to the backs. So I'm putting these good sides together, and then what I'm going to do is just leave a 2-inch opening and spin them through. But I'm going to trim all the edges down before I do that. So that's going to out of the way for a minute, because otherwise I'll end up ironing on it and I'll melt the thing. Right, so I'm going to start. These seem to work really, really well because they don't slip around on the hard surfaces as well, these little mud coasters. And 5-inch squares seem to be the perfect size underneath a cup. But I was thinking about it and thinking, you know, these would make really good gifts. A set of them for someone moving into their new house or going away to university or something like that. Right, that's that one done. So I'm just going to use my scissors. I'm going to take off the corners and the edge. I'm going to trim those down. And I've stupidly cut through some of the stitches on that corner, so I'm going to just quickly resew that corner. Oh, so this rug is it's a rug from, originally it was from IKEA. And it's got loads of buttons on it. It does look like a twister rug. You are very right there, Lorraine. It was discontinued quite a few years ago, I believe, and I was looking for one because I knew that quite a few people had them in their sewing rooms, and I liked the fact that it had buttons on it so that it was kind of like sewing related. And it turned out that I was just browsing through Facebook one evening, and someone very, very local was getting rid of it because they'd had it in their children's playroom. And it needs another clean actually because it is a bit grubby, but I did clean it initially when I got it because I've got one of those carpet cleaning thingies that look like a vacuum cleaner, but it didn't come out that great. And where it was in my last house, it was there was a lot of sort of foot traffic on it, so it has got quite grubby again. So now it's up here in the new sewing room, which is upstairs. I don't think it will get much. Well, it won't get any dirty feet on it because we don't tend to wear shoes in the upstairs of the house anyway. So I'm gonna, when we go and get rid of the rest of the stuff at the old house, one of the last things that's there is our carpet cleaner, so that I can clean the carpets in the old house before we basically turn around and say, right, that's it, now it's all done. So when it comes back here, the first job will be to give that rug another good clean, because it is a bit scruffy looking at the moment, and I don't particularly like the fact that it looks a bit scruffy. Alright, so I've just turned in the piece where I turned in the piece where I turned it through. So I'm now just going to stitch at 1/8 of an inch around the edge, just to flatten out the edges basically and close that opening. So one thing I love about this machine is it just deals with layers really well because of the dual feed foot on the back of it. There we go, one more. So the ones downstairs, I did actually do a little bit of quilting in the centre of them as well. The ones that I've already made of these, because I thought it would just keep all of the layers together. So I think I'm probably going to do the same again. Tried to get one for ages but gave up. They're really hard to get hold of for something that they sold for quite a substantial amount of time, and it seems to be that everyone seemed to have one. they don't really wear very well, Suzanne. So I'm wondering whether a lot of them just got recycled and taken to the local tip. But it's quite sad, really, because they're really nice. I think a lot of people have, sadly, a lot of people just think, oh, I can't be bothered to clean it. I'll just get a new one and end up throwing them all away. Right, so that's nice and flat now with the little hexy backing on there. Picked up a thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch in the ditch just around this piece here, just so it anchors all the layers together in the middle. This is what I did with the ones downstairs, and they have fared very well with regular cups of tea on them. The thing that baffles me is I was looking at some of the mug rug tutorials and different things, and some of them are quite big, which I understand they're big because it allows you to have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or whatever hot drink you like, plus it has the ability to have a couple of biscuits or cookies next to it. But in my experience, the cookies and the biscuits don't stay there very long, so I don't see the need for them to have space for them, because the cup goes down and then the cookies go in. So it must just be me. If I see one, Suzanne, I will let you know, because I hunted high and low for one for a long, long time, and it's when I gave up hunting, as I say, one round the corner came up. It was 10 minutes drive, and the lady didn't want very much money at all for it, which, I mean, looking at the state of it, I probably shouldn't have paid anything for it, but I think I'd done her a favour by taking it away. First time I've heard an Englishman call a biscuit a cookie. Well, this is the thing. So we call them biscuits because what you class as a biscuit in America is kind of like what we would call a dumpling or a scone, really, or a scone, however you want to pronounce it. It's one of those things that is said differently in whichever part of the UK that you live. But so over here, we call cookies because cookies to us are like Maryland style cookies, which are a biscuit with chocolate chips. But yeah, I don't know why. I find it strange that there's so many things between the UK and the States that are so different, the way that they're called. I find it bizarre that something that is the same in both countries has got a completely different name. But that's what makes everything a little bit more exciting and interesting, I guess. Right, this one I've stupidly sewn way too close to a corner. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in. Cookies on a mug rug. I'm with you. First pack. From pack to hand to mouth. Exactly. It's in Scotland and pick up only, so no good for me. Oh, that's a shame. I wish they'd just start making them again. I believe, from what I believe, IKEA made them for about 10 years, I think. And it seems that everyone had one at some point, but no one seems to have them anymore, which is most bizarre. And we've been to IKEA more times than I can care to explain recently. The amount of things we've had to go and get. and really boring things as well. Nothing interesting. So it's been like toilet brushes that we needed, and we needed new baking trays for the oven, and things that are just really not very interesting to buy. So I've just unpicked the opening that I did on this one, and I'm just re-sewing that edge because there is no way that it was going to turn through the hole that I'd left or whereabouts on the actual outside that I'd left it. So start afresh. Yeah, that works better. So let me turn that one through now. The funniest is fanny bag. Yeah, that I'll never get. I'll never understand the swap over on that one. My friend's my mum's friend growing up, she had it was a lurcher dog that was called Fanny, which I always thought was very odd, but they were quite odd people, so explains a lot. So I'm using my little Prim Hera marker to turn these through because I do think it is the best thing at getting the corners nice and this little Hera marker, because this little pointy bit on here seems to just get in and pop the corners out. Where did I purchase the industrial from, please? So my industrial was from Juki UK, which is the Juki UK is the same company as, well, it's owned by Franklin's UK. But if you're in the UK and you're after an industrial, you can always ring Franklin's and ask them where your local dealer is nearest to you if you're not near a Franklin's. And if you're in the US, there's the one that I know of the most in the US is Juki Junkies, which is part of Gigi's Fabric Shop, which they have a YouTube channel, and I think that they supply Juki Industrials as well. But I do also have a Juki semi-industrial, which is the TL 2200, which I absolutely love that machine, and I use that as a mini long arm when I'm using my quilt frame, because it runs at such high speed and it just does a straight stitch. And that machine, if you don't need something that is as strong as a fully industrial, the TL is an absolutely brilliant machine. It takes up less space, you can pack it away. It's just as sturdy as an industrial, but it was just that little bit more easy to live with if you're not going to need the full extent of a full industrial. But I have to say, if you've got the space and you don't mind having a machine that's mounted in a table, that TL is, the DDL is one of the most beautiful machines. I will never ever part with that. I've got no reason to whatsoever. It does everything an industrial could ever want to do for me. The only thing that I've ever sort of thought twice about is maybe getting an industrial with a walking foot. But for the little amount I'd use it, I just don't think I can warrant it. So that is the second little one. So that's those two completed, which are just the perfect size for a mug. So they can go on the coffee table, and then the third one can go on one of the window sills, which is right near the edge of the sofa. I don't know why I cut this so big, this backing fabric. Oh, the dogs are absolutely loving it, Karen. They absolutely love it. They are so content. Dobby keeps going out in the garden with his toys and just laying in the sun. He just, I think he thinks he's guiding on to heaven because there's just so much more space. He does this thing now. So in front of the staircase in our new house, there's like quite a big, not a huge amount of space, but there's a lot more space than there was in front of the staircase at our last house. And he now does this thing where when he runs down the stairs, he gets to about stair 4 or stair 5 and just goes straight off the end until he finds the floor somewhere in front of it. But he does it every single time now because he thinks it's the best thing ever. So, and the first thing he did when we came in was walked around all the different, so we've got a bathroom upstairs, and then we've got a shower room in our ensuite. And Dobby's got a thing about just stepping into the bath. And one of the first things he did when we actually brought him over, once we'd unpacked most of the house, he got in all the baths. Well, got in the bath, got in the shower, had to look around all the different bathrooms, had to make sure that everything was safe. He's the most crazy animal. But he's like a human, the way that he looks at you is bizarre. I think it's because he's got such blue eyes as well. He almost looks like he's got human eyes. So when he looks at you, and even when he's done something naughty, you just can't be mad at him. Oh, hi, Sandy. Yeah, I'm in the UK, so I'm on the south, not the south coast. I'm not far from the south coast of the UK. So I'm about 60 miles south of London town centre. It takes me about an hour and a half to drive there. I like bags. I need something with some more power. Yeah, if you're a bag maker and you've got the space and you need something with the power of an industrial, then I highly recommend going and trying one. Juki are the #1 in terms of industrial machines. They have been for years, and they supply the most industrial machines out of any other supplier, which is why I love this machine, and I love the overlocker, the serger as well, because they've got industrial technology in them. So some of the way that the components and different things are made in the same way that they use in industrial machines, so they just last. But yeah, the DDL, I've got the 7000 A7, which has got the auto foot lift on it. It does I think it does up to 5,000 stitches per minute, but it will just sew through. It sews through leather, it sews through multiple layers of woven fabrics, it sews through denim beautifully, and equally you can adjust the settings on it and it will still sew through lightweight fabrics with no problems either. So it is just a really nice machine to use, and it's really easy to get to know when you first get it. When I first got it, within about an hour or two of it being delivered and plugging it in and actually starting to use it, there was an element of doubt in my head that I sort of thought to myself, oh, should I have bought this? Is it going to be too powerful? Is it going to be too much? And within about 3 hours, I thought to myself, it's so easy to use, I don't think I'll ever be without it. And I love that machine. I spend 90% of my sewing is on that machine because of my bags and different things that I make for my business. So I needed something that was reliable and that I knew that I could switch on in the morning and it would run all day, no problems. And it just does what is asked of it, basically. And the thing is as well, is because you've got the separate bobbin winder that runs at the same time as you're stitching, every time you need to change the bobbin, you just pop a new one on the top, thread it up, and then before your next ones run out, you've got another one fully loaded on top, ready to go. So swapping the bobbins when they run out is such an easy thing to do because you've always got one there ready. The only thing with the industrial though is you do have to use a thicker thread, because it's so fast. It will shred sort of your normal general purpose sewing thread. So you do have to up it to a thicker thread. Oh, they just sew through anything, Juki Industrials. They're brilliant. How did I get into sewing? Right, okay, so I started sewing when I was about 12 years old. I did sort of like a sewing class at school as part of the curriculum. Basically, we had to learn the basics of sewing and the basics of cooking and different things. And then I really enjoyed it, obviously, and I then started going to like an after-school club in the school, in the same part of the school that we used to have our lessons in, and I went to that pretty much every Thursday night for about 2 years, and then I got my own machine, and I used to only sew garments, and I didn't really get into quilting and bag making until probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And I started it was lockdown, I started quilting because I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm gonna just have a go. I've always wanted my own handmade quilt. I love the texture of quilts and the sort of like the feeling of being able to wrap yourself up in something that you've made. It just it's sort of quite comforting. So I thought that I would make one, and it is like the quilt that Jack built. It's not the best quilt in the world, but whose first quilt ever is. And it just kind of, I don't know, I think with quilting you have to be so precise and accurate, unless you're doing sort of like crumb quilting and scrap quilting. And I like the fact that everything is just so everything fits together the way it should do, as long as you're accurate with your seam allowance and different things. And I think it just stuck with me. Driving up the stairs, such little characters. He is bonkers, Karen, absolutely bonkers. So yeah, I think that may be it for this evening. I might pop on again another evening this week. I'm going to pop off and I'm going to go and make myself a cup of peppermint tea, sit down for the evening and teach my husband how to do the thread blocks for the next stage of his FPP tutorial sort of thing. So yeah, thanks for sitting with me and keeping me company, everyone. I will talk to you all soon. Thanks for tuning in and take care. I hope you have a nice evening and I'll see you all soon. Take care for now. Bye.